You need to focus on how you think about yourself and how you think about other people. The way you think about things when you're younger, you can't think like that right now. You're gonna see setbacks as like a setup for you to fail. So that's why when you don't put in any effort but you're being rejected, it's almost like you knew you was gonna be rejected. But when you put in effort and you're still rejected, it's gonna hurt more and it's gonna feel like a slap in the face. Because the thing is, some people will be brutally honest for why they rejected you, and you can't do anything about it, you can't say anything about it. You can do something about it where you take it as a lesson, but you can't really say anything about it. You can't make that person justify anymore why they rejected you. And that's what I'm going to say, because when it comes to rejections, no one really likes it. And when you're younger, you start to feel attacked, you take it more personally. But then later on, everyone is separated. And you may have been in the same environment for so long, but when you're in a different environment, you can't bring those people with you. And that's what you need to realize, because other people are going to meet different people. And that's the same thing for yourself, because you may know the same people, but you met those people at different times. And you may have been in the same environment thinking that you met at the same time, but you meet people at different times. There is so many people in the world, but why is it that they gravitated towards you and not someone else? And that's something that will really stick with me, but then also that can really stick with you. You can't expect everyone to get along, but you can expect that people want different things. And if you don't want the same things as other people, it's almost like you're not going to have a conversation to really talk about. When you're younger, you look for people that you look up to, but you don't actually look for people that you have things in common with. And that's how a gap is created in like a friendship, because you don't have things in common to talk about. And the only time that you actually hang out with each other is when you're in the same place, you're meeting people because you both know a certain person. When you're younger, you're more likely to be in the present moment. But when you're older, you start to think about what you want in the future and if people want to have that future with you. So that's what I've got to say about being younger, because it's not that it's complicated, but it's more complicated when a lot of people are involved. It's more complicated when you meet people and then all of a sudden you stop talking completely. It's also complicated when it's long distance, where you're separated from people and you can't really meet up as often because you're in different parts of the world. But then also it's really up to you to go after the things that you want, and it's up to you to not really give up on yourself. Because if you give up on yourself, you can't expect people to bring you back up, but instead people can give you advice so that you bring yourself back up. I'm going to say this as my next point, and you need to start valuing connections, because connections is so important. Because when you're younger, you start being friends with anyone just based on who you see often. But when it comes to when you're older, you make connections with people because later on, because you know that person, they can then introduce you to someone else, and then you get to go to certain places. I'm going to say this next thing, that when you're younger, you start getting caught up in the moment, you start getting caught up in other people's lives, and it's important to keep the promises to yourself, because you don't see people often. You don't want it to be that when you're younger, you're full of energy, but then you're so focused on other people and putting your energy into other people, and then later on you don't see them. And then when you don't see them, you think that they owe you something. But in a way, people don't really owe you anything. People don't owe you an explanation. People don't even have to like stay in your life if they don't want to. You know, when you're younger, and it's going back to the point earlier that I said, where you're more present in the moment, but you start getting caught up in the moment. You start feeling things towards people that don't really care about you. But also, when it comes to being older, you start to learn how to detach when necessary. But also, when it comes to being detached, it doesn't mean that when people give you good energy that you don't give anything back. But instead, when people give you good energy, you start to reciprocate that. And also, when people do things for you, they don't really have to, but they do it for you to make your life easier. And that's why you need to learn how to emotionally invest, but also detach from people that don't really care about you. Because the thing is, if an opportunity was given to them, they will easily drop you just like that. So that's why you need to learn how to let go. And to understand that when you let go, it gives you peace of mind. You don't have to stress about people because you can't control what people do, but also you have to let people prove themselves to you. Because you can't just say that because you're friends with this person, that you're just gonna let it slide. If people were given the opportunity, how would they react? What would they do? And would they even think about you before they do anything? And that's what comes first, because you need to know other people's priorities. You need to know your own priorities. You need to know how you've met the right person and how you're going to meet the right people. And by meeting the right people, it truly depends on the environment, but also it really depends on what you want when you're talking to people. It's just to make sure that you're really aligned. You don't want it to be that you're friends with the wrong people and then they take you to the wrong direction, because the things that are meant for you, it will happen, but you're the one that determines how long it takes you to get it. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you again soon.